As of 2025, Mount&BLADE Bannerlord has hundreds, if not thousands of mods to choose from. Mods that will completely overhaul your entire game and give you a completely unique experience, as well as just quality of life mods that might make the game look the way you want it to. There's so many mods to choose from, as I'm sure some of y'all's load order looks something like this. And today, I'm going to be picking some of the best and most essential mods that you need in your playthrough in 2025. With all of these mods in your playthrough, you are guaranteed a more improved, logical, and better looking base game that will without a doubt enhance your experience. With this mod set, you will now have larger battles with troops and weapon damages that actually make sense, improved dialogue options with lords and companions, and kingdom decisions that actually have meaning behind them. These mods are open-ended, meaning you can add on other mods that you want onto it, but beware, I am not responsible for any incompatibilities or crashes. With all that said, let's check out the mods. First up, we have Hot Butter. Just kidding. First up, we have Reinforcement System. Reinforcement System enhances the Bannerlord combat system by allowing nearby AI parties or armies to join your battle. This means instead of AI parties waiting nearby on the map for you to finish the battle you're currently in, they will seamlessly join onto the battlefield in your current battle. This makes Bannerlord combat exciting and dangerous again, as you might not want to choose fights you think you will barely win, because an enemy ally could just join to reinforce them at any given moment. This forces you to pick and choose your battles a lot more carefully than before, and it is an amazing feature and mod that I always have in my playthroughs now. Next up, let's talk about the Horses mod. It's a simple yet essential quality of life improvement that lets you fully customize your mount. This mod introduces the ability to select your own horse in the beginning, where you will be able to choose your horse's coat color. You can also grow a bond with your mount now, giving you the option to name it and even kick your enemies while riding. A higher bonding level means increasing your horse's skills. You can now whistle and call to your horse at your convenience, as well as refill your ammo from your horse's quiver. This is one of those mods where once you have used it, you wonder how you have ever lived without it. Now, if you're looking to breathe new life into Bannerlord's combat, cinematic combat is a must-have. This mod introduces fully customizable player to AI executions, meaning you can finally enjoy epic For Honor style finishing moves. These brutal cinematic executions give Bannerlord's vanilla combat system the refresh it desperately needed. These finishing moves will never get old to me, as it's so satisfying cutting through everyone on the battlefield. Now, if you want a more immersive and realistic combat experience, Realistic Battle Mod is another essential. Realistic Battle Mod improves the existing combat by making it more realistic by making the AI use proper formations. Armors are more resistant depending on enemies' weapons, while each weapon type will now have different effects against different armors. All units will now defend themselves more. For example, units equipped with a shield will actually use the shields properly. This mod covers a lot of different areas in great detail, but if you haven't been using this mod, I would highly suggest this being the first one that you download. Our next mod focuses on overhauling Bannerlord's diplomacy system, or should I say lack thereof. Diplomacy is a mod that provides balance yet creative options for characters to actually have an impact on the world for both the player and the NPCs. Diplomacy features many things like messengers, alliances, non-aggression pacts, vassal diplomacy control, war exhaustion, and even civil wars. Bannerlord's diplomacy and politics have always been barren and lackluster, but with this mod it adds a little more depth and fixes what feels like random kingdom decisions. Our next mod is realistic weather, and it adds, well, exactly what you think it does. It enhances the rain and snowstorms with a variety and density within the base game, but also adds two new weather conditions, fog and dust storms. Not only are these improvements and additions, but the weather will now have a variety of effects on you and your troops, such as visibility, morale, and movement speeds on the campaign map and in battle. This adds a nice layer of realism on top of the base game, and features that should have been in the vanilla game to begin with. The next mod is an absolute must-have to fix one of Bannerlord's biggest problems when it comes to their combat, and that is that pikemen do absolutely no damage to cavalry. If you didn't know, the base game you can just charge a group of cavalry at the enemy infantry, even if they're pikemen, with zero consequences, as they will shred right through them. With the better Pikes mod, this completely fixes that and makes the combat between pikemen and cavalry deadly as it should be. It increases the weapon damage in length to 4 meters, and it also lowers the angle of the pikes in the bracing formation in order to actually make contact and hit the enemy cavalry. Definitely another must-have mod for your next playthrough. Now, this next mod is my personal favorite, as it adds a huge gap of content and features that vanilla Bannerlord is missing, and that is vanilla recruitment system for castles and cities. The improved Garrison mod offers a lot of content and features, as it aims to improve the management of your castles and settlements. But I want to focus more on the recruitment aspect of the mod more than anything else, as you will now be able to recruit troops automatically from nearby villages to your garrison by creating recruiting parties. You will also have complete control over how many troops and what kind kind of troops you want, and if it gets too expensive, you can always set a limit of the number of troops you want in your garrison. There's a lot more to this mod that we don't have time for, but I highly suggest you check it out for yourselves. Now, the Governor's Handle Issues mod is a mod that fixes not a particular issue, I would say, but a feature Bannerlord has added that doesn't make a lot of sense. If you didn't know, unresolved quests in towns and villages will harm your prosperity and loyalty of towns and castles, which in turn affects everything from production times to militia training. This makes it very difficult and grindy to play late game when you have many settlements to your name. When your governors do complete your settlements quests, your garrison troops that participate in the mission will gain XP, and you will still receive whatever rewards that are associated with those quests. This is another mod that I feel like should have been in the base game, and I now have in every single one of my playthroughs. Now, this next mod is a collection of mods made by Xorberax called Xorberax Legacy. This mod pack includes a lot of features, some of which I believe should have been in the base game, like banks, friendly fire, deadly horse charges, and a training field where you can wait in settlements and train your troops and gain XP without having to risk the lives of your soldiers. It also adds a cut through everyone feature where when you swing a sword or a polearm, you can now hit multiple targets with just one swing. This is definitely one of the coolest mods in Bannerlord, as it adds so many new and fun features that we don't see in the base game, unfortunately. Now, have you ever engaged in a large battle, but then you only spawn in with half, maybe even just a quarter of your own troops, and find out that all of them are infantry units and none of your cavalry or archers are nowhere to be found? Well, this next mod fixes that issue and gets rid of, for the most part, the wonky wave function that Tailwars decided to give us. With the battle size mod, you now don't have to deal with the random waves of troops spawning in random places on a battlefield with no logic whatsoever. With this mod, you can now increase the size of your battles, where you will now spawn in with the entirety of your army. Be wary, this can cause a little bit of a lag depending on your rig, but it's definitely worth checking out, as sometimes removing the wave feature can change the outcome of the battle entirely. The next mod is another personal favorite, but also a simple one. Smith Forever does exactly what the title says it does, and it removes the pesky stamina bar when forging weapons, and if you have the next mod, armor as well. This might feel like cheating to some of you all, as it does make sense you wouldn't be able to craft 100 swords instantaneously in real life, but at the end of the day, if I have the materials, I should be able to craft it, in my opinion. But if you're like me and choose an endurance playthrough every single time, then this is a mod you definitely should have. As you all know what this next mod does, Bannercraft will now allow you to not only craft weapons, but armor as well. It never really made any sense to me as why Tailwars added a smithing feature but didn't allow us to forge armor in the first place, but what do I know? This has definitely become one of my must-have mods in any playthrough, as now I don't have to roam around the entire map anymore just to find some good armor, and then spend thousands of dollars on it. I can now just wait until early mid-game and buy and smelt the resources and craft them for me and my companions. And not to mention, it's really nice to have if you're playing a total conversion mod like Realm of Thrones, where you can then craft any of your favorite armors from that mod. This mod list should give you an overall better experience with the vanilla base game, with new combat and weapon improvements, logical diplomacy decisions between kingdoms, and improvements to your castles and settlements. All of the features these mods give us touches on just about every aspect of Bannerlord I could think of, giving you a completely new experience. If you think there were any mods that should have made this list, let me know down in the comments what your favorite mods are. And if you're looking for some of the best total conversion mods for 2025, check out my video right here. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.